most of the diabetics will be on some medication or insulin. Now, my concern is about the risk of hypoglycemia.
Yes?
Now, how does one know whether one is hypoglycemic? Because you don't go to the doctor, you go to the doctor only once in 3 months or something like that.
Yeah.
So the warning system, and how big is this risk of hypoglycemia?
It is big when you are on insulin and other medications. And how do you know? Check it. So that's why it's important to know.
But that may not be, because suddenly your
Yeah.
blood goes
Then
down.
you go with the symptoms and you treat. You don't wait to check, you treat with glucose tablets or juice or something that you can take. And there are guidelines. People who are driving, they have to check before they get in the car, because that's why some people may not recognize the lows, and that's why it's important.
Please go ahead. Yeah, you.
I just want to ask you, ever since I've started taking the diabetic medicine, I find I'm losing a lot of muscle, a lot. Is that the reason, because of the medication I'm on?
Like I said, I cannot comment individually,
Mhm.
but if there is a problem, you address it with your doctor and find out.
Okay.
Losing muscle, did you say?
Yeah, a lot of, I feel loss of collagen.
Anil?
Dr. Jindal, question, if we have no obvious problems and everything is nice and normal, should we be taking blood pressure and blood sugar in a normal way at home?
The screening is, because we are South Asians, we are at high risk. You're over 50 years, you're high risk. So check with your doctor once a year or twice a year, whatever the doctor recommends, at least once a year minimum to have it checked.
Quick question.
34 inches waist for last 30 years, take cholesterol and high blood pressure medicine. What is my chance of getting diabetes?
You're at high risk, you're South Asian and you're at high risk, but it doesn't mean you will definitely have diabetes. The risk is higher.
Yeah, I have a two-part question, really quick. I heard that there's a mineral deficiency of selenium and zinc could also contribute to this. And there's also the secretion of pancreatic enzymes. And the second part of my question was something Dr. Ginger also mentioned, age, advanced glycation end products, which is an improper mixture of proteins and carbohydrates in the absence of enzymes. What exactly causes those situations? Because we are eating both. What are the circumstances that causes to age being produced?
Okay, the question is relationship of selenium, which is one of the trace elements, and zinc to diabetes. Then he talked about age, A-G-E. It's not the age that way. A stands for advanced, G for glycation, E for end product. What it really means is glucose, when it's high, it combines with protein and makes something like glue, sticks everywhere. I think that's the simplest way I can explain to you. Age is like a glue. It sticks everywhere. So the question to Dr. Khan is role of selenium and zinc.
Well, we don't know what exactly it does. There's supposed to be zinc that influences release of insulin from the beta cells. Is that happening? We don't know. People do take zinc and selenium and hope, but that may be early in diabetes. We have no studies to show that it benefits.
I just want to conclude this and by thanking Dr. Khan the usual way. Before you go, I'm sorry I have to take 5 more minutes of your time. 2 questions were given to me and I tried to find some answer for you. And if I could take, delete my first slide.
This one?
Yeah. No? Yeah, that's the one. Sorry. No, that's not it. That's 14.
Sorry.
This is May. Anyway, the last time we had excellent talk on who should go to emergency and who should avoid emergency and it was super. This question came up about sodium. You go to the emergency, they do your blood test, and one of the tests they do is sodium. Now, what is the relationship of sodium? There it is. So this is, if you go to the doctor will say, oh, your blood sodium is 135 to 140. What does it mean? It means part of your salt that you take, part of it is sodium. Your blood level is 135 to 140, that's normal. So in the emergency, next slide, it's 120. That was what the emergency doctor mentioned. That means it's obviously is quite low. What does it mean? What does it mean is low? Is it low because you have lost it, sodium, or is something else has happened? It's very important to know. Because the sodium can be low because you lost it. How could you lose sodium? Think for a moment. We have 3 outlets in our body. We have 3 outlets. What are those? The upper? No. It's the mouth and the bottom. So, you can have vomiting, you can have diarrhea. So these are 2 outlets. Where's the 3rd outlet? Kidney. You make pee. So how can people lose salt? These 3 ways. Either somebody is vomiting, or have diarrhea, or through the kidney on water pill for high blood pressure, so you lose salt. And if you see a sodium of 120, under those circumstances, it is because of this reason, and they are invariably dry, skin is dry. They are not wet, because they have lost so much. But what is common? This is, you just take a glass of orange juice, keep on adding water. After a while it will taste to you very flat. That's exactly what happens. Sodium is low because you have too much water in your system. Is that common? That's the most common cause. If you have low sodium, you have too much water in your system. And how do you know that? You can have a little bit of swelling, or have conditions where there is swelling like heart problem and so on. See, don't give salt there. You'll kill the patient. If somebody has low salt because there's too much water in it, and on the top of you give more salt to this person, you'll kill him. So what do? You cut down the water intake. That's exactly simple answer to that. Somebody has sodium, oh dear, here, 150. What does that mean? That there's only one reason. There are no 2 reasons. And that means you don't have enough water. You have concentrated your salt, you need more water. The body will tell you. You'll be so thirsty. You have no choice but to drink. So when you talk about sodium, your test is done, its relationship is only with one thing, and that is water. Shift of water. If somebody has a sodium of 120, the water will shift, because it's too much, into your cells, and you will have problem. If you are too dry, it's concentrated 150, the water will move out of the cells. So this was the topic last time. When you see low sodium, doesn't mean you start taking salt. It will hurt you badly. So that was one question that came up last time. Okay. Look at the composition of blood. You give a blood sample. No? Yeah. 45%. If you look at the tube that you give for blood sampling, red, 45% is solid. Solid due to red cells. But the vast majority is different, plasma. And of that, most of it is serum. Take the protein out. What is serum? Serum is just like taking salt and mixing with water. That's exactly what it is. So salt is very important for you. You cannot do without salt, but there's a limit to what you can take. I think that's the point. If you take serum, which is most of it, you need salt. And so it's important of salt. I think we all must understand that salt is important, but at the same time we are taking 3 times the normal amount of salt. That was one question. The second question is frequent urination at night. Somebody came, I can't sleep at night. So why? I have to wake up at night several times to go and make pee. And let's look at it. If you look at these 2 kidneys, they are open into the bladder and then it goes out. So the defect, why a person wakes up at night, go to the urinate, has to lie with the system. Now how the urine is made, first. Sorry. How much does the kidney filter in one day? How much fluid is filtered in the kidney in one day in each one of us? You can't even guess. 170 liters. Can you imagine? 170 liters of water is filtered in the kidney in one day. Which, how much does it come out? How much does it come out? Very little. Only 1.5. So most of it is taken back. So just remember, there's a system in the kidney and the brain which are related. So whatever water is filtered is taken back. Now, why would you get up at night? We are taking too much water, coffee, tea after 7 o'clock. That's the most common thing that you see. Then what about the kidney? You heard, if the water is filtered, 170 liters, but you can't keep it back for whatever reason. And one of the reasons is what we heard today. Too much sugar. You're filtering too much sugar, and sugar becomes like a water pill. It takes it with it. And so that is one reason, high blood sugar. There are other reasons, but these are not that critical. And the last one, sitting in the bladder. In males, is the prostate after a certain age. And then, that's the most common. Anything that irritates the bladder will make you go pee more often. What can it be? Infection in the bladder. A kidney, a bladder stone, stone in the urinary bladder, that'll do it. So these are the 3 common things related to bladder. In kidney there is a lot more system, I won't talk about this, but for practical purposes, that person who came to me was having lots of tea and coffee and drinks after 7 o'clock, and we just cut it down. And practice is that cut it down food intake, water intake, all the fluid after 7 o'clock anyway. I think that worked for this patient. So that's my answer to this question, why people wake up at night to urinate more often. So with that, I think I'll wind up today. We have our regular seminar in a month, and we circulate the notice. I thank you, Jane, Shadia.